Hey guys, it's me, Dila, of course, and you're watching my channel. It's been such a long time I didn't do a video in English. I've missed you guys so much. We're back today for another video, and we're gonna recreate this look. You guys ask me all the time the details of the shades, the brand, everything that I use for my daily glam, and I thought I would show you guys how to do it. So maybe it's gonna be a long video, I think, like compared to the TikTok tutorials, it's gonna be a long one. So I think you can just sit down and do your makeup with me, grab your Stanley, your coffee, whatever. I have acne prone skin, so I believe you can trust me. Like a baddie said, I don't trust a makeup routine with a baddie with clear skin. Yeah, I don't either. A lot of people say that their full face doesn't look like a full beat. It's because you're not putting the right steps in the right order and the right technique, guys. I'm here to teach you all the techniques. So let's get started with the video. Okay, let's start with the skin prep. For the toner, I would usually go with 2 different toners. One toner pad to exfoliate a little before doing your makeup, and also a hydrating one. This is the Medicube Zero Pore Pad, and I love it so much. But I'm not using it today. I'm not exfoliating because last night I used retinol. This is the Dual Barrier Creamy Toner from Max. As you can tell, I'm almost running out, but I have a stock. It could be any hydrating toner, to be honest. There's a lot of milky toners on the market, whatever works best for your skin. Guys, this is my first English video in a long time. I've missed this. Oh my god. There's a large community that I built. Like, if you're new here, hi, hello, my name is Dila. I've built a large French speaking community. You know, I talked to them about how I want to go back to English content, and they were like, go girl. Less is more when you do your skin prep, so I'm gonna go ahead and use a moisturizer. The one I'm gonna use today is the Tatcha because it's my current favorite, and I'm mixing it with sunscreen. This is the Max again. Now you're gonna go with primer, so I usually use these 2. Today I'm gonna use the milk one because it's in my project pan. We're gonna do the brows first, but I'm waiting for the primer to get tacky a little bit, so during this time I'm gonna talk about the foundation that I use. For the foundation, my favorite ever is the YSL All Hours Glow Foundation. Mine is in the shade, hold up, I'm just checking which one is the correct shade. It's the 400. I trust this foundation so much. This was the only foundation I took with me when I traveled to New York for like a month. But if you're more a skin tone girly, I recommend the Kylie Cosmetics one. I have 2 shades just because this is too light and this is too dark. I'm mixing the number 1 WN and 3 WN. A product that's never gonna be replaced in my routine is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, and this is in the shade Ash Brown. You know how starting from here I have more hair and I don't have much hair here? Well, I actually want my brow to start here and here. So I'm just bringing my 2 brows closer together. I'm gonna do it and you just watch, okay? I know. Don't judge, okay? Trust the process. You guys, I recently cleaned my brushes and they look so good. Look at that. And I also picked a selection of brushes I want to keep for my daily use, and then I removed all the ones I'm not going to use. Okay, this is my Holy Grail brush, and guys, I got this from like AliExpress. This was my first concealer brush ever. To conceal around my brows, I'm using the Huda Beauty concealer in the shade 2.3, and even with the new packaging, I think it's like leaking a little, so my first reflex is just to grab whatever product there is on the side, and I'm just gonna clean up around my brows a little. Guys, you can say bye to my room because I'm renovating really soon. Like, you're not gonna see this decor anymore, these furnitures anymore. I'm so sick and tired of these mirrors. This has to change, and it's gonna change drastically. It's gonna be a big change, you guys. Okay, you should have this shape, and I'm taking this under eye concealer brush from Huda Beauty, and I just blend. You can, you know, trace them a little bit more, a little bit less, blend it a little bit more. I'm not gonna do any of that right now. It might change once I powder my face just because it moves a little bit the concealer around when I powder. I'm gonna use this NARS Pot Concealer, and if you don't have the budget for this, I'm gonna put you guys on something. This is called the Sem, and it's basically like a Korean brand where you're gonna have like 3 different correctors, and I believe there's like a darker version too. And I'm just gonna cover my huge, I was gonna say little, girl, It's huge. What do you mean? Like I said, I'm mixing these 2 shades of the Kylie Cosmetics Skin Tint directly with like a huge foundation brush. I feel like it's getting like in between the bristles a lot. So I'm just gonna use a flat brush like this to kind of like mix it all together, since we use 2 shades and to already blend it, and it's not really taking much product, which is great. Just go over with my foundation brush. I'm using again the Huda Beauty one, but there's so many brushes you could take. This is my other foundation brush. This is my other foundation brush. There's so many options. I just blend everywhere, but I kind of leave like around my eye with no product on it. Okay, now for under the eyes, I'm gonna use Natasha Denona. See, this is speaking too. I'm gonna use a little bit of that. A little bit. Kind of a lot. Under my eyes, on my chin, a little bit. This time on my forehead. Add a little bit more Huda Beauty one, just to give like a nice and smooth transition between the light colors and the darker colors. I'm gonna use this again, Huda Beauty. It looks sponsored, guys. It's not. There's no sponsorship in this video, but I'm using the Huda Beauty foundation brush, but the mini one. I'm blending everywhere but my under eyes first, so my under eyes have more time to dry. The most important part is that you don't leave this area here with no concealer, because when you don't sleep, when you don't drink water, this is the first place that gets dark. Okay, for cream contour, I have my 2 favorite products ever. The Dior one is a little bit more of a contour shade, and the Too Faced one is more of a bronzing shade. I don't drag it, you know, I just have it in place. Okay, perfect. And I go around my forehead a little bit, my nose, my eyes, and I don't do my jawline just because I don't like the harsh lines here. Sometimes it's easier to do my makeup with like dirty brushes, because I feel like it's not gonna give as much today because of my brushes are like squeaky clean. This is what I do with my brush. I don't do this, I don't do that. I do little movements like this. It took me like 5 seconds to blend that. You just blend it into your hairline. For the blush, I like to use a brush that's like this, slanted a little. I feel like it's easier to apply the blush with this one. I have another one, but I find it really big, and I use it usually when I'm in a rush because it's just like quicker to apply the product. And for the blush, I have so many options. Guys, I'm a blush collector and I love blushes so much. So I think today, just because it's like easy to work with, I'm gonna show you guys how to work with Huda Beauty blushes. I love using these 2 shades. It's the Bubblegum and the Strawberry Cream, and I go with the Bubblegum first and I apply it kind of where I want my blush to sit. I don't put it too high or too low. I don't like my cheekbones like up here. I blend it into the bronzer, not on top of the bronzer. Of course, I said I'm not using it under my eyes, but to now have, you know, a line of blush, I'm just like going around to make sure there's no harsh lines. Now I'm gonna go with the Strawberry Cream. I'm using just a little here and here to give more depth into the blush, just because I find it really flat when I use one shade. I'm not switching brushes, I don't have time for that. I just see, I feel like it's like blended better with my bronzer, just because the blush was really light and the bronzer is darker, so this makes a nice transition. I'm not scared to go down. I have to say something, you should embrace your big cheeks. I have a long middle face, I think that's what it's called. If you try to keep your products here, your face is gonna look even longer. So you just gotta embrace your features and your makeup is gonna come together a lot better than when you copy someone's makeup routine that's not the same as yours. The only thing I'm doing is that I'm cleaning it up a little with the foundation brush without adding any more product. I love doing that, like removing the product that I have on my lips. Obsessed. I'm also putting a little bit of what's left on the brush on my eyelid to bring back a little bit more color. Let's do nose contour. Oh my god, I never do nose contour with you guys. I feel like it's like a step that I skip a lot, but I have a concert tonight and I want to look snatched. I think you would understand me. I have a full face of makeup like pretty much every day because it's my job and I love it so much, but then once I need to look like I have a full face of makeup on, if I do my usual routine, it's not gonna look any different. So these are the little steps that I add in my routine just to make it a little bit more. And I'm using this LA Girl Pro Concealer just because it has like a built-in brush on it, but you could just use any light concealer and apply it on the bridge of your nose. You let it dry a little if it's like a more liquidy and new concealer. Mine is pretty old, so it's a little bit more tacky. Huda Beauty concealer just to clean the blush. See, the blush placement is a lot better here than it is here just because I cleaned this area. Okay, for the powder, always go ahead with a pressed powder before going with a loose powder. And for the pressed powder, I'm using, Maybelline Fit Me concealer. No, not concealer. I repeated this like 4 times already. Powder, and it's in the shade 105. I am starting with the middle of my face. Look at that. Look at that. And then we have the forehead left, but I'm not using a powder puff. Ew. I'm just gonna turn it around and use the side. Okay, I'm not using a powder puff for that. I'm gonna use a brush. I go over my brows. That's what I said, like when I powder my face, my brows move a little. As you can tell, like it raised a little bit of here. Okay, now I'm going in with the Huda Beauty loose powder. I'm using the duo one and also the sugar cookie, and I'm using it mainly on my under eyes. And I add the lightest shade, so the sugar cookie one, in the corner of my eye. For your makeup to last and look like a full face, you need to do all the cream steps into powder ones. For the bronzer, you could use actually like any. I use the Charlotte Tilbury that I really like, the YSL. It's kind of like pigmented, so it's harder to use. But my favorite is this Morphe one that I got like 3 years ago, and I love it so much. I think it's like the perfect shade for me. There was a time I was scared of the bronzer, you guys, because I'm like really pale and I didn't want a huge shade difference between my body, my chest, my neck, and my face. For the blush, again, we have so many options. Safe option here. This is the YSL Make Me Blush blushes in the shade 44 and 42. I want people to see me like from really far and think I have blush blindness. This is so, oh my god, my base. And we're not even done. It looks amazing. The best part, I just love this part so much. If you've been following me for a while, you know that this is an obsession and I love it so much. I love the quality of the product, but the packaging is not it. I don't know why we ever stopped using highlighter, guys. Never me though. I'm safe. I'm using the pink one, mixing it with the gold one, mixing it with the white one, kind of like, you know, and I just go my whole cheek. Oh my god, guys. I go on my under eyes, I go near my nose, I go down my cheek, I go here, and look at that. This is because I love glowy makeup, but I hate not powdering my face, so that's what I do. And you're not gonna have that powdery effect, don't worry about it. For my chin, I'm mixing these two. For my forehead too. The reason we didn't use brow gel yet is just because when you do this, you're gonna have like powder stuck on your brows if you use brow gel now. So I'm waiting for all my powder steps to be done. We brought light into my skin. The base is looking nice. I don't do much on my eyes, usually. I don't know if I should do a lot today. So what I do for my eyeliner is that I love to do this inner corner. I feel like when I don't do that, my eyes lack a little bit of depth. See, this adds a lot more dimension. I curl my lashes. This is the e.l.f. lash curler, but I can't find it anymore. So if you find it, please let me know. I'm putting white liner on my inner corner. Drag it until the middle of my eye. This opens up your eyes so much. Starting from here, you're gonna put white liner, but on your waterline. Today, I'm gonna be using this mascara. This is the L'Oreal Panorama Mascara. Guys, I believe L'Oreal makes the best drugstore mascaras in the world. A lot of people said that my advice changed their lash game forever. So I start with applying the product on the tip of my lashes, because what makes the eyelash look long is to have the tips really like visible. Slowly go down. Okay, we're waiting for it to dry. I'm taking my liner again and I'm going over my moles that I covered, and I'm also adding a few more beauty marks because I just love them so much. I usually do it with a brown liner, which is like 10 times better, but I finished it and I need to order a new one. But for now, I'm gonna do with the black one. Okay, now the lips, guys. The one I usually use is the Too Faced lip liner in Puffy Nude, but right now I want to use this one. It's the Catrice in the shade, let me find it. Oh, hold up. Queen Vibes. People ask me a tutorial on the lips. But guys, sorry to break it to you, it's lip filler. We have a lot of options. I'm just gonna show you my recent favorite lip combo. Usually I would just put liner and gloss, but I'm going a little bit more extra today. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills lip velvet in the shade Kiss. You see how it's a little bit orangey? I want to remove that, and so I'm using the Huda Beauty blush again in the shade Bubblegum, and I'm adding just a little bit of pink. For the brow gel, I am doing the Project Pan, and I really want to get rid of this brow glue, not because I hate it, but just because I want to switch to another brow gel that's in my Project Pan. This is the Morphe Setting Mist. From my experience, I think this is kind of a dupe of the Charlotte Tilbury, which I love, but I just finished it, so I'm switching to this one. And this is kind of like to melt all the steps together and to get rid of the powdery effect on the face. And this is what your makeup is supposed to look like by the end of this video. I love that I can sit down for a long time and explain you all the details of the makeup, because it's not something you can do on other platforms like TikTok and Instagram. It's really rushed. Hope you enjoyed this video. I love doing this so much. If you guys have any more questions regarding any of my other looks or even this look, let me know in the comments and I'll definitely make a video about that. Stay tuned for next week's video, because it's either gonna be a makeup video or it's gonna be a reset for 2026. I'll see you guys in next week's video. I love you guys so much. Take care. Mwah.